You won't believe what happened to me. I came back home earlier than expected from a trip and walked straight into my HOA president Karen holding an auction in my driveway, with my furniture, my cars, and even my house up for bid. And when I confronted her, she had the audacity to call 911 on me, as if I was the intruder. Yeah, you heard that right. Let me take you through the whole wild story. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood, one of those planned communities that looks picture-perfect on the outside. Neat lawns, white fences, and, of course, an HOA run by a woman named Karen. Now, Karen wasn't just your everyday nosy neighbor. She treated the HOA like her personal kingdom. She made up rules as she went, slapped people with ridiculous fines, and strutted around like she owned every house on the block. If someone painted their shutters the wrong shade of beige, fine. Left a trash can out a few minutes late, fine. Kids chalking on the sidewalk, big fine. So yeah, she was already hated by most of the neighborhood. But what she did to me, that took things to a whole new level. I had been away for 2 weeks on a work assignment. I left my house locked up, my cars in the garage, everything neat and tidy. I even arranged for my friend James to mow the lawn while I was gone so Karen couldn't slap me with some bogus landscaping violation. Everything should have been fine. But apparently, Karen saw my absence as an opportunity. I pulled into the neighborhood earlier than expected, around 10 a.m. on a Friday. Right away, I noticed something strange, a bunch of cars parked all over my street. My driveway was full, my front yard had folding chairs, and there was even a big sign that read, "Foreclosure auction, house, furniture, cars." At first, I thought I was dreaming. But no. People were walking in and out of my house carrying boxes, checking my car engines, even poking around in my backyard like they were shopping at a garage sale. And who was running the whole circus? Karen. She looked at me like I was the intruder. "Excuse me, sir, this is private HOA business. You need to leave the premises immediately before I call the police." I nearly laughed in her face. "This is my house. What are you talking about?" Karen waved her clipboard at me. "According to our records, you are delinquent on HOA fees. The board voted to seize your property and auction it to recover debts. Now, here's the kicker. I always pay my HOA fees on time. I even keep receipts." So I knew she was lying. I said, "That's impossible. I've paid everything, and you know it." She smirked. "Well, maybe your check got lost in the mail. Not my problem. The auction has been approved. You'll have to take it up with our lawyers." Meanwhile, strangers were literally walking out of my front door carrying boxes of my belongings. One guy was eyeing my TV like it was already his. Another was asking Karen about the blue car in the garage. That was my Mustang, my pride and joy. I felt my blood boiling. "Everyone out of my house now," I shouted. Karen didn't back down. Instead, she pulled out her phone, dialed 911, and started yelling, "Yes, police? I have a trespasser here threatening me at a lawful HOA auction. He's aggressive and refusing to leave." She was calling the cops on me for trying to stop her from stealing my house. By then, some neighbors had gathered, watching the whole circus unfold. Some looked horrified. Others looked entertained. One whispered, "Man, Karen's finally lost it." I stood there fuming but kept my cool. "Good," I said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Call the cops. I want them here. I've got proof." 15 minutes later, 2 patrol cars rolled up. The officers stepped out, already looking confused at the sight of random people carrying furniture down my driveway. Karen rushed over to them, fake tears in her eyes. "Thank God you're here. This man is threatening us. He's trying to break into this property during a legal foreclosure auction." One officer walked up to me. "Sir, can we see some ID?" I handed him my driver's license, then pulled out my house keys. "I live here. This is my house." "She's lying." Karen butted in. "He's making that up. He hasn't paid his dues in years." I smirked. Actually, officer, I've got proof. I opened my phone and showed them the receipts of every payment, every month, right on time. I even had an email confirmation from the HOA's own office. The officers took one look and exchanged glances. "Ma'am," one of them said to Karen, "this shows he's fully paid up." Karen's face went pale. One of the officers turned to the crowd and asked, "Whose idea was this auction?" Everyone pointed to Karen. Even the people who came to bid started stepping back, realizing they were part of something shady. Karen stammered, "The board approved it. I was just following procedure." But when pressed, she couldn't produce a single document proving it. No official notice. No court order. Nothing. Turns out, she had made the entire thing up. She was trying to scare me, or maybe even steal from me, by holding a fake auction. And the cops weren't having it. After reviewing my receipts, my ID, and the fact that Karen had orchestrated people entering my home without permission, the officers turned to her. "Ma'am, you don't have the authority to seize or auction off private property. You've trespassed, and you may have committed fraud." The next thing I saw, Karen being placed in handcuffs, sputtering excuses like, "This is a misunderstanding. I'm the HOA president." The officers told her, "That doesn't make you above the law." Meanwhile, I asked the officers to clear everyone out of my house. They announced the auction was canceled and that all items needed to be returned immediately. Some people looked embarrassed as they carried my things back inside. Others muttered apologies. Word spread through the neighborhood like wildfire. Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, had been exposed as a liar and a fraud. She was facing charges for trespassing and attempted theft. The HOA board quickly distanced themselves, claiming they had no idea what she was doing. But it was too late. The residents had had enough. At the next community meeting, Karen was voted out as president. In fact, the entire board was replaced with new members who actually cared about the neighborhood. As for me, my neighbors suddenly treated me like a hero. They thanked me for standing up to her, for not letting her abuse her so-called authority. Some even confessed they'd been victims of her fake fines and threats but were too scared to speak up. A few weeks later, I got a formal apology letter from the new HOA board. They promised stricter oversight and even reduced everyone's monthly dues because Karen had been pocketing extra money. And Karen, let's just say she's no longer living in our neighborhood. After the charges and the humiliation, she sold her house and left. Nobody misses her. As for me, I still live in my home, my cars and furniture safe and sound. Every time I sit on that leather sofa, I laugh a little, remembering how Karen tried to sell it out from under me. So, what's the lesson here? It's simple. Power doesn't give you the right to abuse people. Titles don't make you untouchable. Karen thought she could play judge, jury, and auctioneer, but all she did was expose herself as a fraud. If you treat people like trash, if you use your authority to bully and steal, sooner or later the truth will catch up to you. And when it does, you'll end up like Karen, humiliated, powerless, and alone. Because respect isn't earned by control. It's earned by honesty, integrity, and actually being a decent human being. And if you forget that, don't be surprised when the cops come knocking on you.